Hey, you know what I say to all the other titans of tech who are making such a fuss?
She kneels before the grave, her brave son, who gave his life to save a slogan that hovers between the headstone and her eyes, for they penetrate her grieving. You love a boy and girl, the talking you words that only they can share in you. Love so strong it tears their hearts to sleep through the fleeting hours of morning. Love is careless in its choosing, sweeping over cross and daily. Love descends on those defenseless. Idiot love will spark confusion. Inspirations have I none, just to touch the flaming dove. All I have is my love of love, and love is not loving. So love, the priest that tastes the word and told of love, and how my God on high is all love. The reaching up my loneliness evolves by the blindness that surrounds him. Love is careless in its choosing, sweeping over cross and baby. Love descends on those defenseless. Idiot love would spark the fusion. Inspirations have I none, just to touch the flaming dove. All I have is my love of love, and love is not loving.
Hi there, my name is Tom Chick. This is Old World. I streamed a little bit of this yesterday, and by stream, I mean I babbled for 2 hours while the game was open. It wasn't that bad. I like to think I did a little bit of Tom's-plaining. So the reason I am calling this Goatterdammerung is, so this is endgame Persia. It's year 118. I'm about to be forced into what I was hoping would be the third act, but I was hoping to delay it a little bit longer. But for reasons you're about to see, it's going to happen whether I like it or not right about now. And I'm calling this Goatterdammerung That is, of course, if you're a snotty German opera fan like I am, you might know from the Ring cycle, that's the Twilight of the Gods. Um, but this here, the Twilight of the Persians, Persians, you see, uh, they are a flock culture. They treasure their sheep and their goats and their cattle and especially their horses and their elephants. And so Persia gets extra orders from having flocks. So hence my Goatterdammerung pun. I hope you appreciated it. I spent all of, I don't know, easily 90 seconds on that. So I thought about it. I've workshopped it a little bit. And there you have it. So my overall plan, I mentioned this briefly yesterday, but I'm going to just back up here and I'm going to show you my overall plan and how this game unfolded. Actually, you know what? This would take too long. Well, let's just let it run for a little bit. Yeah, I'm just going to let it run. So my overall plan, I start here as Persia. Exploring to the north, I find to the south Assyria, to the north Babylon. Exploring some more, you can see I find a few city sites. That's those little black dots there. Goatterdammerung, see? Get it, Alvaro? More city sites, and we see I have discovered Carthage to the northeast, and that is Egypt over there to the west in the fog of war. Another Egyptian city has popped up. I found my second city up north between right next to those Carthaginian and Babylonian cities. Rome makes an appearance way, way down to the southwest. Basically, they've got the run of the place for a while. Whereas there we can see Assyria expanding. We're at about the halfway point. Yeah, okay. Some more Carthaginian cities spring up. So now you can see I'm setting up a Persian chain along the coast. I have also set up here my rider city because I didn't want to get closed in. I could see, I'm totally wrapped up. I have to break out of this wall. So that's this rider city. And you'll see I'm going to extend it down here and create this kind of arm of Persia that it's almost like a Persian wall. All right, so let's see. We see Egypt growing. This is not going to last. Carthage is just going to go whomp and start chewing all this up. Meanwhile, I am not seeing any of this because I haven't unfogged it. But during the first half of the game, there was a lot of fighting between Rome and Greece. And I think Greece was effectively hobbled by it. Speaking of effectively hobbled, you can see that Assyria is now down to these two cities. And while the writing's on the wall, I just go down here and gobble this one up. Oh, I did. That's Carchemish. Right. I did gobble that one up as well. So, okay, fine. I'm responsible for the destruction of all of the Assyrian culture and people and cities. Fair enough. I'll cop to it. Yes, that was me. As we will see in a moment on the timeline here. So there I've extended my little Persian holdings even further, but I know that there are no nations up in this area, so that these city spots are pretty much mine for the taking. Or if someone comes by and starts to go up there, I'll see them. And besides, actually, I think most of these at this point are still Numidians. Yeah, there's like a huge Numidian tribal area up here. So let's see, this is at year 78, 79. All of this white right up here, not Carthage. That's just fog of war. Furthermore, the white behind it, tundra. There were times when I was playing and I was like, oh my god, look at what Carthage has done. But no, Carthage is just this. They've got a little city here and they've got these. But all of this white swath up here, not Carthage, just fog of war and ice. And yeah, you can see here, look at like Greece is sort of these little shreds. And there's definitely fighting going on down here between Greece and Rome. Greece even loses one of their cities to barbarians at some point. Nil, hello. Nil, no problem, and thank you for booing my goat pun. I would expect no less. Thank you. You can see Rome, right, it's starting to peek out from behind the fog of war. The reason I can see more of this is I think because they built a wonder. And when someone starts building a wonder, it's revealed to the whole world. Alright, so it's year 102. All that's really going to happen is I will explore this Thracian area, Numidian area up here. I'm playing 2 games simultaneously, and in the other one, Thracians are my buddies. In this one, Numidians are my buddies. Hello, Chris Markinson. Very happy to see you. Oh, and look at that, by the way. I just want to show you. Nope. I'm just so inordinately proud of stupid things in this game. Alright, so look at year 106. How little we see of Rome. And then year 107. Look at that. That is is it infiltration? Anyway, that's my spy master at work. Going on a mission to unfog all Roman territory. Which is super handy. And here we are now. So, oh wait, nope, a few more years. But, so you can see, here's my Persian Empire. Carthage is up here. This is their capital. So they've got a bunch of holdings like up north, down south. They are in my way. And I am going to eat them up. Hello, Mono. Happy to see you. He is expressing disappointment that you can't gain experience points in a game called Evil Dead unless you're playing online with other people. Yep. No solo XP is allowed. That would not be fair because you might, I don't know, get an advantage from the time you spend playing, and we can't have that. That wouldn't be fair to the multiplayer community, Mono. No, I find that so ridiculous. And that honestly was like that was one of the first things in Evil Dead where I was like, yeah, I don't think these guys really know what they're doing. That's not a fair way to put it. That's where I sort of lost confidence that they knew what they were doing. They know what they're doing with some things. There's some really cool things in that game, but I don't think it's going to hold up very well for me. Alright, so here's what the world looks like. Carthage is in our way. We're going to eat them. Now, my plan was, what you saw up unfolding here, that was just geography. Let me now show you what else unfolded over the course of the game. Alright, we start with King Cyrus. If you play Persia, that's the beginning, unless you do randomized leaders, is King Cyrus. He marries this, wait, why is he a Scythian? Oh, the Numidians come along later. I'm confusing myself. He marries a Scythian, and lo and behold, they have these kids. By the way, they're all grayed out now because they're dead. Yeah, how grisly is that? So he has a boy and a girl. I am playing this. One of the things I wanted to try here was, and I foisted this off on my friend Bruce Garrick as well in the game that we're playing. I wanted to try agnatic succession, where only men can inherit the throne. Although, while playing with the new faction that they just added, the Hittites, I found a really cool new way to play that, well, I'll show you guys at some point in the future. But I was a little, like right now, I can only have male heirs on the throne. That doesn't apply to the computer players. All these other nations, and I'll prove it to you right now. Huh, it looks like I won't. I mean, I guess Thrace has a lady on the throne. Well, they're all dudes. But, you know, I'm actually thinking, I'm not wrong about that, am I? I think these rules that you set for succession right here in the game settings only apply to human players. I might be wrong about that. But what I was going to say is they all get lady heirs and leaders. I don't, so it's a way of making the game more difficult for me. But I am now noticing there actually aren't any women. Did they all die out? Like maybe you can start with them? I don't know. But at any rate, that's something I've set on this game to sort of make it more challenging. The thing I'm doing now going forward with games, I found a really cool tweak. I'll share that with you later. But I'm also trying to play with realistic mortality. And that, oh my god, if I thought only dudes inheriting the throne was difficult, geez, realistic mortality. Yeah, nasty, brutish, and short indeed. Alright, so we had the two children with Cyrus and the Scythian. Apama and Artaxerxes. Artaxerxes was a diplomat, and Artaxerxes did that whole thing of playing nice with the other nations. If you're a diplomat, you get a huge bonus to how much they like you. and you can sort of peacefully boom. Now, that was another problem with me expanding as well, is because I was being peaceful, I didn't want to start an early war. So as these guys were spreading around and hemming me in, I just had to make a run to break through on the other side, because I didn't want to fight any of them. You know, I could have tried to pick one of the weaker ones and tussled over a city site. But rather than that, my goal was to have a diplomat and to just secure solid friendships with everyone near me. I didn't want to get in any wars. That was the whole point of King Artaxerxes. So he marries a woman from the Ryder family. And just to show you again, I have resigned myself, by the way, to not playing very many turns. This is going to be a ton of let me show you my empire. But by way of doing that, I'm hoping to also show you some of the cool things that Old World does that you might not see in some of the earlier gameplay streams. In addition to... Oops, hold on. Alright, I wish these would stay close. Okay, there we go. So, after we have the diplomat, while we are creating our friendships with the other players, we set our rider city right here. Is it called Shustar? I forget the name of it. I'll look it up later. But here's our rider city, and then there are hunters and clerics over here. So one of the things that we did, because the riders were over here, they were kind of separated, we went ahead and we married a rider woman. And that's Artaxerxes' first wife. Sorry, only wife. Oh. And that is right here. So they get married and they continue the line down this way. So after he's a diplomat, we have, who is now our current king, I believe. Oh, no, we skipped one. We had a builder, and that is where obviously more booming. It just makes it easier to build improvements around your cities. So King Sukra's reign was just continuing this economic boom. The diplomat secured the peace, and then the builder cashed in on it. So he married. We had now, and this is now, that was our main character's father. And we are now playing Ardashir, who has gone back to being a diplomat specifically because I needed to secure peace with all of these Thracians up here, because this is where I planned on expanding with another round of diplomacy. I did secure peace. However, instead of expanding up there, I am now about to be forced into having, as a son, this fellow right here. Prince Tespes is a nothing. Wait a minute. Why is that? Oh, because he's too young. Right. Okay, and that's what's dumb. Is he was going to be a warrior. He's 15, so he's got 3 more years until he has to pick an archetype. When he turns 18, I have to pick a class for him. And he's been traveling the world. Oh, no, he's a tactics student. Who traveled the world? I sent one of my children away to travel the world. But he's a tactics student. And when he turns 18, he will become either a hero, a general. What are our other options? A zealot would be good as well. A tactician is also fine. So one of those things, and the reason that that's important is because once he inherits the throne, and I am only 51, so Ardashir probably has a few more years left, you would think, right? Once he inherits the throne, I am then going to revise my game from this peaceful situation here, where I'm just expanding over here, to basically smushing Carthage between these 2 bits right here. My other option was to try to swallow up Egypt. There are a lot of wonders of the world down here. But first, rather than do that first, I just want to take care of Carthage. So, when my son trying to remember, I want to be able to pronounce these names. Tespes, I wasn't even close, I'm going to put an R in there. When my son Tespes inherits the throne, we are then going to declare war on Carthage and just sucker punch them. And you can see, here's their capital. They are currently defending it with a Jewish disciple, a worker, a settler, and another worker. They've got these guys here, but I think they're heading down to fight Egypt. Basically, Carthage is just funneling his units down here, and I've been trying to keep the war going by contributing units to Egypt. Hello, Fred Uwe. Happy to see you. However, that slowed Carthage down, but I don't think that was going to pay off in the long run for a reason that I'm about to tell you. I've planned on having a few more years with Ardashir on the throne as a diplomat, building up my military, getting them in position. This whole game has been about pushing the Persian benefit from owning flocks. For every flock they own, they get half of an order. And then those orders build up. You put ranchers on the flocks, those orders build up even more. So I got a sort of a accelerating amount. I basically pushed my orders development as Persia, so that when we have this great war, we've got a ton of orders, 64, with which to command our units. So I was planning on having a few more years. However, let's look really quickly. Can I call up his baseball card? Did they get a baseball card? I guess that's it. Let's look real quickly at some of the aspects of Ardashir, and specifically something that just happened to me. Early on in his career as a king, he found a monkey's paw. And I decided, what the heck, I'm going to keep it. I just want to see what the event turns into. Well, I forgot about the monkey's paw, as did Ardashir, until near the end of yesterday's stream, we had an event where, someone discovers the monkey's paw and says, hey, you lost this. Do you want it? I had the option again to get rid of it, at which point I would have taken a debuff for being foolish. That is the name of it. It would have hurt our science income. Or I could have taken the monkey's paw and been like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you. Which I did. I think I might have missed a message. Ricky Zinger, hello. I'll read that in just 1 minute. By the way, if anybody has any questions about Old World, absolutely feel free to ask them. I love jawing about this silly game. I say silly game. I shouldn't say. It is silly how much I enjoy jawing about this fantastic game. Is what I should have said. Fred Uwe wants to know if I'm winning Bruce in this game. Fred, we're playing co-op. So not only am I winning, Bruce is winning. And Ricky says, I don't know how many games of Old World you've played, but does the 200 turn time limit give you enough time to do whatever 4xing you want? Ricky, I mean, that is such an important question. And I hope that people think about that when they see and hear, hey, Old World always is going to have a 200 turn time limit. Because I feel that, first of all, yes, it gives you the time to do what you want to do. I don't feel like there's ever a game that ended because I ran out of time. I feel like the time limit has never been a deciding factor. It's always what happens on the way to the time limit. And furthermore, I'm trying to think, I don't think I've ever played a game all the way to turn 200. Is that true? Yeah. Yeah, so at any rate, furthermore though, what's more important about that 200 turn limit isn't do I have enough time. Instead, what's more important, and what I wish there was an easier way to express, is that this game is built from the ground up to only ever last 200 turns. This game doesn't have a pacing issue because the developers always knew exactly how long it would take. So when you worry about, like, okay, is this enough activity? Like, is there enough stuff to do in the early game to keep the player interested? Is there too much to do in the late game? Like, because the game is always 200 turns, they can calibrate that stuff much more carefully than an open-ended 4X, or one that runs like, Civ games run 500 turns. And similarly, I think you never end up playing a game of Civ for all 500 turns. So I feel like the 200 turn limit is an integral part of this game's design, I guess, philosophy, or it's a design foundation for this game. Uh, so it feels not like a limit, but like a design choice, and I think it just flows beautifully into so many other elements of the game. And I think most of all, it ensures that the pacing is consistent. There's still, you can't get around this. I mean, there's still, it's a lot easier those early 10 turns. Turns 1 to 10 are always going to go super fast. Turns 100 to 110 are always going to go a lot slower. But as far as what you're doing, what there is to keep you busy, I just don't feel like there's any dead time or downtime in this game. And I think part of that is because it's that 200 turn mandate. All right, hello Patrick Mullen. Oh my God, so happy to see you here. High five from a fellow. You know what? High five, Patrick Mullen. We know each other. I'm so happy to see you. All right, so let's see. What was I telling you? Yeah, so I was telling you I plan to be on the throne for at least, 5, 6 more years. Maybe I could get up into my 60s. It happens, especially if you're not playing on the realistic mortality. That would give me more time to get my forces into position, and more importantly, it would give. Fred wants to know what difficulty I'm playing. Fantastic question, Fred. I will get to that in a moment. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a note because I do want to get back to talking about difficulty level. Fred, your question is logged. I will get back to it in a minute. I have a lot to say. Oh, I want you guys to hear something real quick. Just listen to this. Did you hear that sound? That was me and Patrick Mullen high-fiving across 2,500 miles of America. Yeah! All right. So, where was I? Yes, okay. So the monkey's paw. A helpful person brought me the monkey's paw. I was given a new event. Hey, you forgot your monkey's paw. Do you want it or do you want to get rid of it? In which case, you're now foolish. Ha ha. That's what you get. I decided, okay, I'll keep the monkey's paw. However, I think what might have happened is I missed a message explaining why I have acquired a new trait. I'm going to show you this trait now. And I hope, too, a lot of what I talk about, you guys can see my cursor okay, right? Yeah, okay, good, because I need you to see. So, see this trait right here? So there's monkey paw owner. Please note the trait right above it. Doomed. And let's go up a little bit more. Ill. No, it's not a 3. I am not the third with this name. That is an ILL, ill. So my courage, which would normally be 3, is now only 1. That lasts while you're ill. Being ill, by the way, no big deal in this game. It just means there's like a 1 in, I think they do a die roll every turn. So 1 in 5 chance you're going to get better. 1 in 5, or wait, does it say? Yeah, there you go. 1 in 5 chance you die. 1 in 5 chance that maybe it gets worse. I don't know the chance that it goes away. But my experience in this game is when you're ill, maybe you're on tenterhooks for a turn or 2, but you're going to be fine. However, I want you to note the tooltip for when you're doomed. I am excluded from ever being healthy, which is the opposite, I believe, of ill. Oh, wait. So I'm excluded from, okay, well, I'm unclear on the relationship between being doomed and ill. But I think they're connected, and I also think they're related to this monkey's paw. But I'm not sure because I might have missed a message. Actually, I can go back. Will this tell me? No, nothing about the monkey's paw. Patrick Mullen, quick 2-minute answer question. Does it pass the historicity test? Patrick Mullen, no. But Patrick Mullen, I don't mind at all. I don't think, and I think it was built that way. I think this game is, I wouldn't say uninterested in historical reality. I would say this game is uninterested in simulating historical reality. Bruce and I did a podcast with Soren, and part of what he talked about, I wish I could remember more specifically where, because I'm basically just referring you to a 3-hour podcast. But at one point, Soren just talked about how he respected the paradox approach, but that was never what he wanted to do because they were always simulating things. And that's just not something that I don't think he put it that way, but he just contrasted what he was doing with what Paradox is doing, as pointing out that Paradox is simulating things, and that's not really his goal here. So I would say, assuming it's the historicity test that I think might be of concern to you, and certainly one that's of concern to me in certain areas, I would say no, this doesn't pass it. But I would furthermore say that that's not really its goal. Here we go. Does it engage with history in an accurate, immersive way? I don't know about accurate, but immersive, yes. Patrick Mullen, I have learned a lot from this game. And I consider that doing a great justice to history. Part of what I've learned too from this game is just how this game is different from history. Like the brutality of history to rulers, to longevity, to infants. I mean, I knew about that before this game, but so I would say this game it's like an illuminated manuscript of history that takes a lot of liberties. It's respectful, it's reverent, but it's not, it refuses to be bound. So maybe that answers the question. All right, oh my golly. By the way, I do have to cut off at an hour today, so I've got another half hour. I need to stop like right at an hour. I mean, not a scheduling thing, but I can't do it 2 hours today. But man, I had so much fun yesterday, and I would love to, but I have to force myself to stop at an hour. So, all right. So anyway, monkey's paw. The monkey's paw. Something that's I don't know if it's the monkey's paw, but for some reason I am doomed and I am ill. And what that means is that I have to get my affairs in order because I think I'm going to die. I had a message. Shoot him again. I mean, I specifically saved the game. It was like, no, I got to stream this. I'm going to feel really silly if next turn I just walk it off and it was just a cold. Because my whole thing is, I think Artishare is about to die. And Tepsis, Tespis. I need a mnemonic device. Tespis. Tespes. 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 Tespis. Tespes. I don't know how you Tespis. Tespis. Fred wants to know what order is. Oh my golly, I'll explain the dickens out of that too. Stand by. Tespis. I don't know. I don't have a mnemonic device for this kid. Normally I would rename him, but I wanted to play with the actual Persian names. All right. Okay, so at any rate, this kid here, he is a tactics student. He's about to have to launch a campaign against Carthage. He's not ready. He's only 15. I'd rather that he turn 18 and assume the mantle of an official archetype, preferably a commander, because I have a lot of units of the same type, and commanders are great in that situation. However, I'm worried about what's going to happen to Artishare. I think he's going to die. So I'm just going to now hit next turn and see what happens. While I hit next turn, I'm going to narrate what we're seeing. So before I hit next turn, I want to talk about briefly the difficulty level. The difficulty level in this game is a number of factors. There's no one setting. The difficulty level where I've been pushing myself is in making my own economy more challenging to manage. And that is what this difficulty right here is. You know, if I set the difficulty, and you can see at the very bottom, the able is the easiest, the great is the hardest. Whatever I set here, it's just for me. And it's determining my starting resources and my base income for every city. So if I play at the able, you'll see each city gets pretty much 20 of these goods. Whereas if I play at the great, each city gets 0 of those goods. Oh my god, what does magnificent do? Also 0. Whoa. Wow. Oh, I'm not getting any of them. Ooh, even where I am now. Sweet. Yeah, I'm on hardcore. Look at that. Wait, am I reading it right? Oh, yeah, okay. You know what? That's not even, it's not that it's hardcore. It's just that these are really baby mode. But at any rate, whichever one of these you pick determines the base production in this city and the likelihood that you're going to kick up rebels and raiders from distant lands. So on that one, that's where I'm pushing the difficulty for myself, making it harder that way. So I'm on Noble, which is 5 out of 8. The games that I'm now playing are on 6 out of 8. But here, though, is the other place where you set the difficulty. Heroic Logic, there's the mini-map frustum Tom doesn't like, but engineers like me insist on. What's the mini-map frustum? Oh, I don't know what that is. Now then there's a difficulty you set for the AI, how aggressive it is, that's on default. Whether it gets an advantage, I think none is the default. And how much development it has at the start of the game. The default is to give the AI a couple of cities and a couple of techs. The AI does get a leg up. I think it helps it deal with bad starting positions more readily. I did not give that to the AI in this game. So in a way, this game is on normal difficulty. I've made it difficult to manage my own cities, but I also didn't give the AI their default leg up at the beginning. So that's the difficulty that I'm on. There's no easy word for it. It's a combination of 4 different settings, basically. You can also, by the way, make tribes more aggressive. The difficulty with setting succession to agnatic only, that makes it more difficult. If I had put mortality at realistic, that would make it more difficult. So, Alex Chapman's asking if there's windmills in the game. Alex Chapman, I actually did discuss the windmill factor. I wouldn't say at length yesterday, but I did discuss it for a while in the context of some of my mines down here. Oh no, you know what? I might be giving away something that Bruce and I recorded. Never mind. Nope, nothing to talk about windmills. Sorry. What did I watch recently? I'm pretty sure it might have been Ozark, in which case it doesn't count though. But I'm pretty sure on an episode of Ozark, someone said windmill, and I wanted to stop it and say, "Look, she's saying it right. Why don't you guys give her grief?" All right. Patrick Mullen says windmills all the way. Though actually not. What are they? Are they called? I think they're actually water wheels. But there are these weird little windmills they make. It's fairly advanced. Where is it? Where are those little fellas? Hydraulics. Here we go. So just a mill, a water mill. Yeah, no, it's a windmill. You can definitely make windmills. All right, so let's hit end here. I'm going to take a quick break because the turn is going to process very slowly because we're going to see everything that happens. I want to pay attention to this. It matters. So let me run to the kitchen. I will be back in 30 seconds. Stand by. Uh, Hello, I'm back. Hold on, I have to cough. Oh, mute. All right, sorry about that. I think I was sloppy with the mute, and I hope you didn't hear. Coughing and gargling, apologies. All right. Alex Chapman says, I haven't slept much in the last couple of days. He needs some beauty sleep. Pfft. Alex Chapman could be, I don't, is it weird to say this, but Alex Chapman, I've met him. Alex Chapman could totally be a male model. I mean, obviously, his family, let me just put it this way. Alex Chapman has a beautiful family, and he doesn't stand out as if he doesn't belong when he's standing with his family. Just want to say they could be like stock photos. Seriously, like that beautiful. It's slightly disgusting, actually. All right, so let's see. Where are we? Oh, right. We're gonna hit next turn and keep our fingers crossed and hope that Ardashir does not die in the night. I say in the night. There's a whole year that's passed. Doesn't die in the new year. All right, the turn has ended. The AI is not thinking yet. It'll let us know when the AI is thinking. Now Rome is thinking. We'll find out how many orders they've got in the lower left-hand corner. In just a moment, it'll tell us. You'll note I have 64. Oh, they only have 40 orders. That's so sad, Rome. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I remember when I only had 40 orders. That was rough back then, having 40 instead of 64. Fred Uwe asked about orders, by the way. So orders are a resource in this game, and it's the number of moves you can make, Fred. Basically, when you play Civ, you always move all your units. Here, nope, you can't move them all. You have to manage something called orders. Whenever you do something, it takes an order, pretty much. And orders basically represent like your political dexterity and your command infrastructure and the legitimacy that your throne commands. There's a whole breakdown for how you get them, for the legitimacy that goes into them. Like this. I know there's a way to look at why you have a certain cognomen, which in my case is magnificent. There, yeah. Look at all the XP I've earned. All these things I've done go into the points that give me this legitimacy and make me Ardashir the Magnificent instead of Ardashir the dude who's just a Persian like any other Persian with a bunch of goats. By the way, I think calling like Persians goat herders or what, like I think that gets used as an insult modern day a lot, and I don't. In antiquity, like there's so many places like in the Old Testament where something is mentioned about the size of someone's flock, and it's just, you're like, well, okay, if someone had a big flock, what does that mean? But what that would have meant, like the size of a flock is basically like your wealth. It's your status in some of like the Mesopotamian cultures like this. So when I say goat herder, I am not at all saying it as a term of denigration or a slur or anything. Like I think the Persians and their animals kicked ass. I'm certainly kicking ass here. Patrick Mullen does bring out a good point too. Besides, who didn't herd goats in antiquity? You're right, goat herder. That doesn't really narrow it down, does it? Patrick Mullen, very good point. Vinwraith, this game looks right up my alley, and I really need a non-teaching summer to learn and play it. Oh wait, I've died. I just clicked OK without even realizing I was clicking on my death message. Oh, King Ardashir, we hardly knew you. Actually, we knew him fine. He was in office for a long old time. He was our second diplomat. He served us well. The king is dead. Long live the king. Can we get a round of applause for Ardashir, everyone? That's a wrap on Ardashir. Thank you so much. If you'll come over this way, we have some lovely consolation prizes for you. And if you'll step up here, Tespes the Young, welcome to the throne. Let's see what else happened. These little news blurbs are kind of being upstaged by the headline here. One of our patriarchs died. Oh, a governor. So Nishapur is one of our bigger cities. That sucks. We'll need to find a replacement. If it had been like some backwater, we could have left it without a governor. But no, let's fill that office quick. Okay. This patriarch is now the head of Zoroastrian. Okay, I don't even care about Zoroastrianism. Early on in the game, we found it. Okay, so in this game, my goal, I wanted to be a whirlwind army of religious warriors streaming out of Persia in the final act. That was my goal. So I wanted to get a bunch of orders using the Persian advantage for having goats and sheep and cattle and horses. I've done that. I've gotten all the orders. But the whole idea of being having a bunch of religious warriors didn't really work out because Zoroastrianism, which I founded, it was quite an achievement at the time. Let's take a look. My cleric city, Keturah, right over here. They sprung up super early. They arrived on the stage and said, "Hey, world, Zoroastrianism, what do you think?" And the world snoozed. The world was not impressed. The world just kind of was like, "Huh, what is that again? What does it do?" "Oh, yeah, okay. All right, we'll have fun with that." And then the world went its own way. So Marketing wants to know, what does a governor do? So a governor will add any bonuses that he or she has to the city. In addition, a governor will multiply the city's output based on the character stats. So let's look real quick at Tespes the New. How old is he? He's 16. He just got his driver's license and he inherited the Persian Empire. His stats consist of a courage of 1. So if I were to make him a governor, all he's going to do is add a very, very, very tiny percentage boost to that city's military development. He's not going to even add points, just a tiny percentage boost. If he had a higher courage, he would add a great percentage boost to that city's military. So a governor, depending on their stats, will boost a city's output. And Nishapur, I will show you now, the Elburz Range Forest, it's getting all this game out of there. It's also, Nishapur's got honey, we've got our monastery with these monks, we've got horses going, got a couple of barracks and a garrison. I thought Nishapur was bigger. Well, it's getting a lot out of this forest. Well, it's a decent sized city, and it wants a governor. Like its output, and I just know these numbers up here are high enough that having a governor boost them is worth doing. And who do we have? Now, the rules with governors. This is a hunter city. My Persia is comprised of riders, hunters, and clerics. Those are the 3 families I chose. Each city is going to belong to one of the families. This is a hunter family. Only a hunter or a member of royalty, like a king, but otherwise, for the most part, only hunters can govern hunter cities. So, looking here, here's a Carthaginian courtier that I could put her in charge, but she's already the governor of Assur, which is the Assyrian capital that I captured. Parmis, here she is. She's an orator. This little white triangle here means she doesn't like me very much. We have some tension. So as a governor, there's going to be a penalty to her output. If she likes me a lot, there's actually a bonus to the output. Now, she's a governor of Shushtar, which is my rider city. And why is she governing there? I think because of this inspiring trait, which gives it culture. She doesn't belong to any family. She's a minister that joined the court from overseas, so I sent her out to the Rider City to become a governor. And you can see it doesn't... let me see if I can get these numbers right down here. And oh, you probably can't see them. I can barely see them. Her wisdom is -1, but she's got a charisma of 8. She's got a courage of 2, a discipline of -1. But her charisma of 8 means that the city that she's governing, Shustar, gets a huge bonus to its production of civics. Those are these hammers. So I could theoretically pull them from their positions and put them in charge of Nishapur, but looking down here, in this little strip right here, the top icon is the character's archetype or class. The bottom icon tells you if they have a job, and the laurels represent governors. So this schemer and this orator right here, they have jobs. However, this orator, this diplomat, and this builder, they do not have jobs, and they are eligible to be the governor of Nishapur. If I put this guy in, this orator, what it's showing me here is how that will change my resource output. So he's going to cost me money, which I've got a ton of money, but my income is super low right now. I don't think I want him to be the governor. Orators, though, have special powers, and depending on what I'm making in Nishapur, I might want an orator anyway. I know right now in this situation, I don't want him. I could use her. She's a builder, but I'm not doing a lot of building in Nishapur. It's a pretty established city. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this diplomat in charge. He's going to boost its income because he has 2 points of discipline. Discipline tends to be related to, like fiscal responsibility. So he's going to give me another $20, $21 of income. This plus 5 will become a plus 26. And he's going to give me 3 additional hammers based on his charisma. Now, you might think, well, that doesn't seem like many hammers, but keep in mind what he's adding is a percentage to what the city is already producing. As a governor, if the city is doing bupkis, you can have a 10 wisdom and a 10 charisma and a 10 courage and a 10 discipline, and it's not going to matter. Because you're only adding a multiplier to the city, and if the city doesn't already have the production, your governorship is not going to help. All right. I cannot believe. I just feel like when I start talking, it's a time machine. Good lord. All right, so Megabozus, and I love that name. I got it. There's his baseball card. I don't know why he's called the Loyal, but I'll take it. That's actually something I don't know in this game. Like, this guy obviously was born in Nishapur. I don't know why he gets it. I don't know why she has the Loyal, and like I don't know where some of these come from. I'm curious because I like them. I like how much flavor they add. So we're gonna put him in. He slightly likes me. Yeah, he likes the fact that because he's a diplomat, diplomats like certain laws. So I passed a law that all diplomats like called colonies. So diplomats tend to be fond of me. So we're gonna put him in charge of Nishapur. Megabazus. 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 It's probably something like that. Megabazus. I became the second syllable. So, alright, Megabazus is now a hunter in charge of Nishapur. That's going to cost me 100 hammers to do that. That's these civics resources here. And 2 of my orders. But I have 64 to spend, so that's no problem. Alright, so we replaced a dead governor. That's gameplay. I actually accomplished something. Alright. Groot wants to know, does the game come with a world editor? Groot, it absolutely does. Now, I haven't looked at it, but I will show you one of the reasons I know what kinds of things it can do. If you go into options and you look under the controls for hotkeys, there's a whole set of hotkeys for their map editor. It's just like the usual sort of like brush size and yeah, it looks like it's sort of paint programmy kind of stuff. But yes, they definitely have a map editor. I know that you can get in there and bang on the event system. One of the reasons I am super enthusiastic that this is coming out on Steam is it's been on Epic for a year and it's gotten some mods, but this game is open to and certainly deserves the same kind of modding that Civ 4 had. And I just feel like it hasn't gotten it for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just Civ 4, that was a different time, but oh my god, I cannot tell you guys how much I want a Dune Wars mod, or something like that for Old World. I just want someone to roll up their sleeves and play with this, because there's so much potential. Alright. Okay, so, one more thing I want to show you about Tespes the New. Let's take a quick look at his baseball card. So he's only 16 years old. We don't even know what class he's going to be yet. We'll find out in 2 years. He is half Carthaginian, so his mother was Carthaginian. What that means is that he will be upset. Well, no, he's the leader. He can do whatever he wanted. But if he weren't the leader, he would be upset if we were at war with Carthage, which we will be soon. He is tough, which means a couple of things. So the whole reason I'm telling you this, I want to show you this event right here, Dog Owner. When you get there's a bunch of events that involve like, hey, do you want your character to have a pet monkey or a pet fish, or your character meets a dog, how does he treat it? Or I think there's one with a cat too. One of the options when you meet the dog, they tend to be things like, and this is when your character's a child, by the way, as a character is growing up. You meet the dog, and you can choose to, it's literally the kind of thing like pet the puppy or kick the puppy. If you pet the puppy, you get extra points of compassion. If you meticulously train the puppy, you get extra points of discipline. Alternatively, you can beat the puppy mercilessly, in which case you will acquire a trait called cruel. Now, why would you ever choose that option unless you're doing a chaotic evil playthrough, right? You would choose it because, well, for one thing, I'll just go ahead and show you cruel. When you're cruel, if you're a governor, you're just retarding the growth in your cities. So, cruel governors are bad. They make people in the city not have sex. However, if you're cruel and you are a leader, wait a minute. Oh, no, I see. I had to accept in being cruel this negative. So when I become a leader, every city is going to lose 10 points of growth. And that's a huge pain in the ass. I did not want that. But the reason I beat the dog is because in addition to being cruel when you beat the dog, you are also tough. Which means when you're a general, your unit does 10% extra damage when it attacks. Big whoop. However, when you are tough as the leader, every single unit in your empire, without exception, is doing plus 5% damage. So, since I know that Tespes is about to lead a bunch of warriors into Carthage, I know I'm about to do a bunch of fighting, I'm okay with losing that growth for a minor damage boost in combat. So I actually, and I'm not playing my evil playthrough or anything, but I actually willingly, I mean, I felt a little skeevy about it, but I willingly chose to beat the dog. So this character here, he is an asshole. He beats dogs, but he's probably going to be really good leading our troops against Carthage. Alright, what is his peace response? Oh yeah, okay, this is another accident I made. This is a big accident. Okay, so Rome is super distant from me. And I think the timeline even shows it, right? Yeah. So Rome is all down here, and I'm over here with these little oh, I do have this settlement here. But I was counting on, I didn't, like Rome, I didn't plan on ever fighting them. I was just going to let them do their thing, fight with someone else, and I was going to expand up here into these Thracian cities. Rome has recently been super aggressive, as naturally they would be, there's nowhere else for them to go, coming up and grabbing these cities up in here. So what I tried to do was grab this city, and this, I guess it would have been this city, to make a wall right here, and then refuse to sign peace with Rome. If you sign peace, your units can just walk through each other. If you don't sign peace, if you just maintain the default truce, you can't walk into their territory without declaring war. So what I wanted to do was create a wall right here to keep Rome from expanding into these settlements. Because this is my fallback. Like, once I take care of Carthage, if I'm however many points I need, I was just going to run up here and found a few cities. Although, shoot, I won't have a diplomat anymore. I mean, I might have to conquer them, but I could still grab them. However, while I was formulating this plan, I realized that one turn ago, I had just sent my ambassador to sign peace with Rome. So for 3 years, like it's a 3-year process, and it just now came through. Besides, I missed the chance. They took this one, so I missed the chance to try to close off a wall here. But that's the whole reason I have this dumb city right here, is I wanted to seal Rome in here and then not sign a treaty to let them march through. They probably would have just sailed around, but maybe it would have slowed them down. But at any rate, I screwed up. My ambassador didn't get the note, so. Alright. The Persian line, exactly, Marketson. Richard Holt wants to know where the action panel is. The tutorial references it, but I can't find it. Richard Holt, is it maybe something like this, when you click on a character? Like those are their actions that you can do with that character. Some characters, like here's a family head, she's going to have more actions than just this random head of Manichaeism. Whereas me as the leader, I don't have that many either. Oh, because I'm not even an archetype yet. But I'm assuming it's this panel right here with actions, Richard. All right. Oh my God. Look at all of these decisions. I love it so much. Okay, let's just go backwards through them. All right, so the ambitions, I think I'm going to be able to finish these okay. Autarky is not going to be an issue. The elder priests might be a problem. That's just going to take a while to build temples. Oh, this one is perfect because I will be researching Latine Sail. Windlass, is that going to be an issue for crossbows? Oh, well, no, I'm not going to, I don't want to have to capture 5 cities. Well, shoot, I'm going to do this one. Just because I know I've got half of it on the way, because I have to research Latine Sail to pass the autarky law. Alright, so I'm afraid, however, that has been an hour. What I will commit is not to play this any further. I'm just super excited to talk about this and show you guys. So I apologize. I didn't even run one turn, but I just have so many things I love jawing about with this game. So I'll be back with more. Thank you guys so much for joining me on Friday. Any questions? 0. No, that's not true. I did press end turn once. So if we count the end of last turn and the beginning of this turn, you know, 2 half turns, those are kind of 1 turn, right? Close enough, yeah. All right, I do feel like I got a good workout for my voice, so thank you guys so much. I will maybe be back over the weekend. I've got a busy weekend, but maybe next week, certainly. But suffice to say, there is more to come. Happy Friday to everyone. Have a great, great weekend, and I will talk to you soon.
I have no breath.
Excuse me?
Sorry, what?
I have nowhere to go with this. It's too perfect.
You are literally glowing.
You've hit the level of perfection, and now you
stole my heart?
I've just come out of the water. You're fresh from the water. You're a mermaid. You're here.
How are you so fucking shiny?
Can you fetch me an inhaler? Because I can't breathe.
My eyes.
I'm physically unable.
My eyes hurt so bad from your beauty.
Excuse me, ladies.
Oh.
There's a
Sorry.
party to get to.